Hello, everyone. This is Tony Moll, the Learning and Development Coordinator for the AOE team. We're glad you could join us today. We will be sharing with you content that can help you understand better your clients and associates during these difficult times. Today, we will let our speakers, Scotty Moore and Stephen Reed, introduce themselves.
Hey there, this is Steve from Forefront Web, and we are going to take the digital data dive today. But first, we wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Stephen Reed, and I am the Digital Marketing Director at Forefront Web. I'm the millennial extraordinaire, complete with man bun and everything. I do everything from search engine optimization to AdWords campaigns and all that good stuff. But really, the main thing that I do is I dig into numbers, I make sense of those numbers, and I help people make money based on those numbers.
And my name is Scotty Moore. I'm a conversion architect. Stephen actually came up with the architect version of that title. It sounds a little bit cooler, just like SEO engineer. Yeah, I just joined Forefront in late 2019, but I've brought years of experience in marketing as well as a lot of knowledge in digital marketing. But what Forefront Web has really allowed me to do in this role is expand upon my experience in social media marketing, specifically Facebook, and I've dived deep into analytics in Google Ads and everything you need to know about how to get conversions, how to tell what's going right, and how to improve your business via different conversion strategies. So we're happy to be on here, and we're really excited to share what we have to give you guys.
So what will we be talking about? Well, today is all about numbers, and there are a lot of numbers out there. And if we'll get into it in a second, but if you're familiar with Google Analytics, you'll know that there are a ton of different things to look at. Well, there are high-level numbers that are meaningless and trivial, and there are deeper data. There's deeper data that can actually tell you how people want to be marketed to, can tell you the performance of your business, and it can tell you where you're missing the mark. So we're looking to give value to those values, and we're going to show you exactly how to do
that. So meet our hypothetical business, ABC Dental. Why did we choose dental practice? Well, besides just being biased that we have a lot of different clients that are dental, there's basically a lot of different things that we can do and figure out via analytics that will apply to basically any business that are tracking analytics with their websites. They don't have a different age range. Everyone goes to the dentist, and there's a lot of different ways to track and gain a conversion via dental practice. For this specific avatar, they are established in 2005 with 5 to 10 team members. They have some brand recognition. Obviously, they've been around a long time, so they're well known in the community. They offer everything everyone else offers. Every other dental practices usually offer the kind of same things, as you'll notice in some of your industries as well. Dabbled in digital for a spell, but went back to traditional because they were burned, as a lot of agencies or people or businesses who have dived deep into agencies, they come away coming either unimpressed or oftentimes don't know what was really done. And they know how to log into their Gmail account, which hopefully most people in most businesses have one and know how to.
And one of the big reasons why we're tackling a dental practice is, we've worked with everybody from sororities to nuns to medical equipment manufacturers. Dental practices are the most robust digital marketing campaigns that we have worked with. They have the most different avenues to reach out to different people, the most conversion points, as we'll talk about later. And, selfishly speaking, one of our strongest clients to date started out as a 2-office dental practice here in Central Ohio. And because we did on-page SEO for them, we dove into their analytics, into their data, found out how people wanted to be talked to. We were able to, over the course of 2.5 years, allow that dental practice to go from 2 offices to 7, and they are continuing to grow. And we hope that the analytics tracking and conversion tracking that we can show you today will help you all do the same.
So the first thing that you want to tackle when you're starting a campaign or talking with a business, or you're wanting to dive deep into analytics, it all starts with conversion tracking. That's the goal. You want conversions. That's the first thing you're looking to achieve. So if not tracked, you have no idea how your digital efforts are going, who came to your business via online efforts, and also how to improve your business to gain more and to build off momentum or figure out where you're struggling. There's a lot of different ways to track a conversion. One, you can see the almighty thank you page. We can use analytics actually to track how many page hits that thank you page is getting, and it's the end all when it comes to form submissions onto the website. It's your truest form of getting a real conversion, and we'll show you today later on how you can track that via analytics and what you're doing either to miss the mark or where you want to build off of. Clicks to call is another one, especially for a dental business. Finding your business online and using the phone number included in Google AdWords and tracking those numbers to see who's calling the business directly from your digital efforts and exactly where you're putting your marketing dollars. That's important to track and understand. And connecting all the accounts, as Stephen is going to point out, with paid search algorithms, because they live and die off this data. And without proper tracking, you're going to end up spending too much of your marketing dollars without understanding that they can be connected.
For instance, with a dental practice, if you are using an AdWords campaign, which we definitely condone, and we'll talk about later, the algorithm is one that lives off of conversion tracking. And you can set the algorithm to reward specific campaigns based on how many conversions they're getting and to spend more money per click if the algorithm believes it will pull in more clicks to call or form submissions from your site based on previous performance. However, if you don't have all of your conversion tracking set up, if you're only tracking clicks to call and not form submissions or vice versa, you could end up just absolutely hemorrhaging budget despite having conversions coming from a different metric. So we're going to help ensure that everything's connected along the way, and so you waste the minimal amount of money possible. And right here, we wanted to kind of give you a look at the toolbox that we're going to be working with today. The Google products are pretty much going to be our bread and butter today, but we will dive into a little bit of the insider digital agency tools that you can use. They're free models to use what your organization might need. But the first thing that we're going to talk about today is, one thing that we need to stress with those. All of the Google products technically are free, and the agency products that we were showing have paid for subscriptions. But if you use them the correct way, where one platform requires a payment, the other platform can kind of do it for free as well. So you can get everything that you need. As long as you're not an agency that's managing, 10 or 20 clients, you can pretty much get everything that you would need from a data standpoint from the 3 platforms that we'll show you at the end. And not only will you be able to see numbers of what people are searching for, if you're trying to figure out what keywords somebody in your industry is going for, if you're into heavy metal fabrication, is it metal fabrication services, or is it something longer? Is it a fabrication for X product? Not only will you be able to figure that out, you'll also be able to figure out how you can reach people best. Is it foot traffic? Is it phone calls? Is it form submissions? Or in the case of our dental friends, it is all the above.
Yeah, and Stephen, I think that's an important aspect. We're not here to really empty out your wallet, so to speak. What we're really trying to provide to you in this webinar is so you come away knowing that there are practices that you can make right now with your business online to understand to understand what's working and what's not without spending a dime. So these free platforms are really useful, and if you're not using them, it could be potentially, completely damaging your business.
And so we're going to start out with the mother of all when it comes to data diving, Google Analytics. And we're going to pose a question to you all now to kind of get a firm grasp on your understanding of Google Analytics, whether you, if you check the whole section of the webinar, you should be able to give us a little bit of a intro into how much familiarity you have with Google Analytics, whether you didn't know that Google tracked website traffic, or if you've spent so much time in there that you feel that you have to start paying Google rent for how familiar you are with it. And that will allow us to figure out more how we want to approach data from either a high level, or if we need to get into the nitty gritty, secondary dimension of, acquisition breakdowns and like some of the crazier intricate data that we can get into. This will give us a firm understanding.
Yeah, and I think important to know for Google Analytics, just so everyone understands, in case that maybe you never connected your site to Google Analytics, maybe you don't even know what the dashboard looks like, but essentially it tells you how many people come to your site in a total aspect and where they're coming from. It could be organic search, so they just found you with a Google search, maybe searching for a top keyword. They found you directly. They found you via a paid search campaign you might be running, or someone's running for you via paid search ads. Or they might just be coming through from Facebook. Maybe you have a good Facebook page that you that you're interactive with in the community, and you engage a lot with your clientele, and they're coming to you on Facebook. That's going to be the social component of your analytics. So it's important to figure out and to use in order to know where your clients are coming from. How much does it cost? Like we said, and like we're stressing, zero. It's free. So that's why it's such an important platform in terms of understanding your online business and where to capitalize on momentum. Is it hard to use? No and yes. If you've never been in there might be a little bit of a curve when you first start, but it's also important to know what you're looking at and where to look. And we're going to show you exactly what is possible in those basic settings today.
Cool. And oh, you're good.
Go ahead, Stephen.
One thing that we like to address at the beginning of any Google Analytics conversations is misconceptions that a lot of people have with the platform itself. People, whether they have no knowledge or a very basic knowledge of it, often come to us with these 5 questions, and we're going to walk through each of the misconceptions to not only tell you not to be worried about something specific, but to figure out what you should be looking for in particular.
Yeah, so the first common one that we always hear from clients is they need more web traffic. Well, that can be a little bit overstated. Anyone with a wallet can bring traffic to the site, especially bot traffic. We see that a lot in analytics, and you might see that a lot when you first open up analytics if you've never been there before and you notice that your site is getting a lot of traffic. But if that traffic isn't of quality and they're not converting, honestly, that traffic is really doing you no good. It's empty traffic and it's empty visitors because your site is not achieving and your online business is not achieving what it's set out to do. And the true mission of a SEO campaign, a search engine optimization, is to get those more qualified leads and to start ranking for the keywords. So even if your search or your total site visitors go down in attempt to target a more specified audience, then your conversions at the end of the day, if they are up, that's the true end goal. So the real goal there is to try to meet at the top where we're increasing in-site visitors and increasing in the lead form generations.
And that feeds perfectly into the second misconception that we hear all too often is more traffic is the end game. Well, put it this way, if you are our friends in this dental association, this dental practice, if you have an online portal in which you just launched an online portal where your employees go every day to log into a specific resource, well, that is going to drive up your direct traffic, and it could easily make it look like you were getting triple the amount of traffic you were getting at this point in time last year. So There are certain ways or certain places that you can look, and we'll break those down to figure out what are the increases coming from. If you look year over year, you're going to see, and you can look at if your organic search or your Google traffic has increased year over year. If so, keep doing what you're doing. If it's starting to slip, well, then all of a sudden now you have to start paying more attention to your search engine optimization efforts. Another thing that we like to emphasize is that bot traffic does exist, especially if somebody is crawling crawling your website. It can be it can actually be a digital marketing company from anywhere in the world can crawl your site, and that will feed into your analytics and it will stuff the data. So it will artificially inflate it. So then you go into your acquisition channel breakdown to figure out where your traffic's coming from. There's a little tab in there called referral, and now all of a sudden their website is showing up in your referral. It's essentially an advertisement for that particular for that particular company, and we will walk you through here in a second how to actually set up step by step how to block out the spam. But first, we want to show you how to get to the acquisition breakdown. When you log into Google Analytics, your control panel will all be on the left. And what we did right here is we highlighted the under reports, the section called acquisition, and then you click the overview, and then you can get a very high level breakdown of it. Will by default do the past week. In the top right hand corner, you'll be able to change it, the date range. We like to do 30 days at a time. You can see if people came to you from organic search, a paid search campaign, which is your AdWords campaign, or if you've been doing a lot via social media, you can see if your social media traffic's increasing, or if you've ran an email campaign.
Yeah, and then more specifically, you can even tap into behavior underneath acquisition to see which specific pages are performing the best by going underneath behavior and site content and going to all pages. This will give you an overview of kind of what's performing the best and what you kind of want to improve upon. We use this for a lot of contact pages or thank you pages, as we said, for conversion tracking, but also we kind of get a look inside of what our customers are really looking for. So we can answer any questions that they have later on, and we can also integrate it into other pages that we have too. So we can repurpose content, and we can find different ways to talk and engage with our audience that we didn't know before we took a look at these trends.
And this all content breakdown, one of the greatest things it will do is it will, at the very first look, it will show you the top 10 pages in the past week or month that people are getting to. We love to see the contact us page hang around that second or third mark. If it is hanging around into the 8th or the 9th position in your top 10 pages, you might need to add more call to actions throughout your site. People aren't getting to the primary call to action and conversion section. So maybe changing the button of your contact us to be something that is brighter, adding them onto some of your core services pages. This also allows you to see what is the most popular services you have. Let's take our dental clients. If we were to break down all of their traffic by page, and we see that, we know that Invisalign makes them a ton of money, but man, it really is that dental implants is what's performing right now. Maybe we should orchestrate a campaign surrounding that. What is that page doing that is drawing so much traffic, and let's replicate it to some of our bigger money makers. And we wanted to give an overview of what the acquisition channel breakdown looks like. And you can see we have right here, we have the top is a month over month. There was a huge surge in direct traffic. Direct traffic is somebody coming straight to your page by typing in your website, or it can be somebody going to Google, searching your name, and then clicking your brand's Google business page. That can show up as direct traffic. Or if somebody has bookmarked your page because they just love you that much. But then we like to see that organic search increase. Below, you will see a look at what an individual page looks like, not just an individual page. This is our key money-making page, the thank you page. that is, you can only get to this particular page if you have filled out a form. It is the end all. And so what we did was, not only did we break it down to this specific page that we found it in the list of the content breakdown, but now we can see, okay, month over month, we had 8, we like to look at unique page views because that refreshes every 30 days. If somebody came to your page on the 1st of the month and then they came there on the 28th, that would still be the same person. We like to see unique page views because it's kind of a better metric to really understand how many forms you got. Instead of, sifting through and counting them, you kind of like to get that higher level. Well, we saw a 400% increase in organic search thank you page submissions. That tells us that what we're doing with our organic search, our Google campaign right now, whether it be, backlinking, content creation, any sort of promotion of these pages is effective. Let's keep it going.
And this is just kind of a pro tip. If you needed a step-by-step instructions on how to set up a free filter for your site's Google Analytics to kind of feed out that bot traffic, this is just to kind of give you an overview. We won't go through the exact steps because, obviously we're not within Google Analytics at this point. But if you want to just take a screenshot of this, it looks fairly more difficult when it's laid out in 12 steps. But once you're in there and clicking around, it's a very, very fast process.
Yeah, analytics, as we noted, it's very easy to look at a lot of the numbers and get lost. This is a very step-by-step way of, if you're walking through it, you will be able to see, yep, here's the button I need to click. So this is a little bit more advanced, but it will give you cleaner data.
Exactly. So to feed into the third misconception that we usually hear, people often think the bounce rate is too high, especially when starting out in first in analytics. They see a 50% bounce rate, and this not only that, but when they see that, it's important to understand that percentage, that bounce rate percentage, is something that is going to fluctuate a lot throughout time. And also, depending on how you're using the data that we just talked about to understand where you are communicating with clients and how you're interacting with them, it might just be, if you realized a client wanted to know the top 10 or the top 3 reasons why you should be keeping your teeth clean during the COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, and you created a short list or a downloadable file and they achieve that, they're going to be in and out of the site very quickly, and it's mission accomplished. You have gained that authority, you've gained that trust with them, and now you can use that to build off that momentum. So oftentimes people are coming in, getting their answers or their questions answered quickly and leaving, and so mission accomplished. Now there are times to worry. Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, there are times of worry, and somebody will come to us and say, my bounce rate is 50%. Well, is that good or bad? It's kind of arbitrary. We like to say that we like to see it between 25% and 75%. Why so high? Well, people will, like Scotty said, they'll come to your site, read a blog post, leave. That's fine. They got the information, they got the trust, they got the value. But if it is lower than 25%, then that tells us that there might be something wrong with the analytics. For instance, we have seen clients have a 2% bounce rate. Well, that's because there was something that was firing as soon as somebody got to the site. There was a broken code. Sure, it would be great if only 2% of people who came to your site didn't leave immediately, but it's just improbable. And if you have a bounce rate that is over 75%, that tells us that there's something that people are disagreeing with your site on. And you can go to individual page breakdowns to figure out what pages do people not like, what pages do people like, and how can we, remedy that? How can we make this page more like this page? One of the reasons that people leave a page immediately is a super slow speed. If you load it on mobile and it takes 3 seconds to load, people are already out. They're already looking at the next thing. If you have a really ineffective AdWords campaign, which will teach you how to run one without just hemorrhaging your budget, you can drive up your bounce rate awfully quick. One thing to note, if you are somebody who lives and dies by your impressions, if you are a publication, your bounce rate is probably going to be a lot higher. We've worked with a number of publications before digging through their analytics, and they would have a 78% bounce rate, but their organic was through the roof. They were reaching more people. People got the value, and then they left, which feeds perfectly into the fourth most common misconception.
Yeah, people that don't spend enough time on each page, like Steven said, they're coming in and getting the content that they want, especially with publications, especially with intriguing headlines that they come into and they see exactly what they want answered and they read on and they click off. You gain the trust. We live in an age where people aren't going to spend a lot of time on the websites, especially with so much distractions, and especially on the internet, which is the king of distractions, or queen. Average time spent on a contact page can be as low as 10 seconds. But if you're getting the point across and you're getting a conversion and people are spending less time on the page, it's nothing to worry about, because you're achieving your goal. You have a good user experience. People found where to contact you, and you gain their trust and you gain that conversion. Referral spam could also be negatively influencing your averages. But as long as your times are between 30 seconds and 5 minutes, there's no need to worry.
Yeah, nothing to worry about there. And then it goes perfectly into the last misconception that we hear, is that my average pages aren't high enough, or my average pages have gone down. Well, if you think about it, what ultimately, if you were a website that lives and dies by lead generation, what do you want people to do? You want them hitting that contact button or that contact page, calling you, or filling out your form. Well, if you're running an AdWords campaign and you have a contact us link in your ad, somebody clicks that, fills out the form, they get to the thank you page. That is 2 pages. Is that 2-page average good or bad? Well, in this case, it's great. But if somebody's going around your site, in which we saw, I believe it was a chiropractor who had an average of 7 to 8 pages per visit, what they found is that nobody could find the contact us. Nobody could find a way to convert. And so we added the contact us button, and everywhere we added it into the main navigation, and it dropped the average page per visit, but also increased their the amount of leads that they got. And so what we talked about, the metrics that don't matter. Here's what really do matter. We're gonna hit it till we're blue in the face. That thank you page hits. That is the number one. It is the most surefire way to prove that somebody has actually filled out your form submission. When somebody fills out your form, they should be redirected to a thank you page. You go into that content breakdown that we showed you how to get to, and you type in thank, or like thank-you, and you see how many people actually went there. We also like to take a look at the acquisition channel breakdown year over year, because it can take seasonal bias out of the mix. For instance, right now, if you're looking at your organic search or even your direct campaigns, you're going to probably see some fairly drastic drop-offs. I mean, the current climate and landscape of digital marketing has been shaken up a bit right now, but you really want to look at things from a year-to-year perspective versus month-over-month, because, you know, if you're a parent and you're getting ready to go get your kids back to school, one thing that people often do is they do their back to school teeth cleanings or spring cleaning, teeth whitening. They see a surge. So you just want to see how you did last year in comparison. Contact us page hits. Another huge one, like I said, you want to see it in that number 2, number 3 spot to make sure people are able to get to it, making sure they're able to actually convert. We're going to dig into one very intricate way of looking at data, and that will be your internal page entrances from Google. Essentially, that is just saying Google likes this page, you're ranking for this page, and you can prove that people are coming from Google from there. And we always implore people with Google Analytics to just go in there and just start clicking around. Something that matters to you might not matter to somebody else. We have somebody who sells used gondola shelving for grocery stores. Well, essentially, they were looking to build another warehouse somewhere throughout the United States. So, you know, the thank you page hits are great, the contact us page are great, but they needed a little bit more information to figure out where they wanted to build another warehouse. Well, we gave them a geo-specific breakdown and realized outside of their warehouses in Texas, Columbus, and I believe it was Nevada, West Virginia just happened to be a huge market that they were already dominating in, and so they're able to make a buying decision to build a warehouse there.
So yeah, here's an example of each metric, Stephen. If you want to tackle in what it means as far as where they're coming from and the source medium aspect to it.
Yep. This is a breakdown on the contact us page. This is what this looks like. There's a little box above the page title. I think it clipped out in our picture there, but it says secondary dimension, and this is advanced analytics if you want to get into the real nitty gritty of it. There's a little box that says secondary dimension. You can click that and just type source. Not only will that tell you how many people got to this specific page, but it will tell you exactly where they came from. They did the people from the content from your AdWords campaign, also called PPC, did they get to your contact us page? And it breaks it down nice and neat right there. With the internal page entrances from Google, like I said, it's our most nitty gritty data that we can get our hands on. We can get to a very specific page and then break it down by that traffic that we mentioned above. People came from Google, and then we highlight that little block that says entrances. If you have numbers in that block, that means that somebody is finding you from a Google search. Whatever you're doing on that page is working, and you can try to replicate that for the other ones if you want to get a little bit more of your search engine dominance there.
And that kind of brings us right into Google Ads and Google AdWords. As you figure out what pages are performing the best and how you want to talk and interact with your clients and what clients are searching for to find you, and realizing, again, we'll show you tools to use down the line to realize what keywords that you should be kind of ranking for or should be putting onto your website in relation to what your users or visitors are searching for. Google AdWords will help you overnight to get and compete with the local competition or national competition so that the SEO campaign can do its stuff behind the scenes. So you'll want to be able to not only for the long term keep your SEO efforts up, but Google AdWords will help you get overnight basically. Now you will have to open your wallet, so it allows you to get your brand and your messaging out there for some brand recognition, but it is costing, but you can go in there. Don't forget to just kind of explore. We always recommend people going in there to just explore what the capabilities are. One thing, a pro tip to use is when you do create your account with Google AdWords, you will have to be putting in a credit card initially, but you can just pause the campaign as soon as you're done to make sure it doesn't run and it doesn't take any of your cash. But especially it's useful if you can't get there organically right away. SEO doesn't take overnight. It's not an overnight process in order to achieve rankings and to achieve the top spot for the top keywords. So AdWords really helps in getting that brand recognition out almost immediately. It's not hard to use, but if you're not careful, Google will find ways here and there in little surfaces to take money from you and hemorrhage if you don't have the correct settings set up.
It's not hard to use, but it is very easy to lose money on it. And so we're going to help you mitigate those losses. The good thing to note as we move forward is that there is something free in the back end of Google AdWords called the Keyword Planner. And that is one of the more infamous tools that you can, if we can click to the next slide.
Went back somehow. There we go.
Yeah, there's a tool called the Keyword Planner, and what this allows you to do is, suppose you are a dentist, and you know that people are searching out dentist near me. Great. So you can take that keyword and you can tell AdWords that you want to be ranking for it, but what are some related keywords in my backyard that people are searching for? And things that you might not normally think of. And how competitive is it? Yes, we want to be ranking number 1 for Invisalign because that is our highest margin product. Well, the issue with that, as Google AdWords will tell us in this keyword planner, is that it could cost $8 a click for Invisalign. However, there's a fun little one there for dental implants or dental implant surgeon near me for 10 cents a click. We like to always cite a very fun case study that we had with a used bookstore that came to us, and they wanted to use their AdWords, and they thought that their AdWords campaign was going to be going after used Bibles, is what they thought their moneymaker would be. That's what they thought people wanted most often. Well, after doing the deep digital dive, we found their moneymaker was used Amish romance novels. So, you know, you can find some interesting stuff in there. It was the something they had a great inventory for, and it had a very low cost per click. And when they ran a test campaign, as we like to tell people to just kind of experiment with, they found that that was their highest conversion mark. And Scotty mentioned that Google AdWords does cost. So what we like to recommend is, well, one, we'll tell you here in a sec to lock down your Google business page. When you do that, Google AdWords will likely send you a $100 certificate to say, once you spend $100, we'll give you $100. Use this as your digital test kitchen. Run a sample campaign where you're only targeting, 3 keywords. If you're a dental company, it would be dentist near me, family dental, or family dentist practice, something like that. Low budget, just in your backyard, and then you can see how people interact with you. Do they want to click the call with these AdWords? Are they filling out your form from this? Is this something you should put even more money behind?
Right, yeah. I mean, who doesn't love free stuff? And the thing is, Google wants you to use this. Google understands and wants to show you the value that AdWords can really provide for your brand recognition. Your local businesses can take, a lot of great benefits from Google AdWords. So when they do offer this, use it, utilize it. This is a great way to test and kind of dip your foot in the water to make sure you are taking advantage of all the resources that are available to you. One of the most important, as I move on to the next slide, aspects to recording, once you have that live, say you go through a campaign for a month and you've spent the $100 free. Well, once you have the phone number extension set up, one of the best tools that we can recommend, and one of the ones that we really use as far as conversion tracking goes in Google AdWords, that's click-to-call reporting. It's kind of hidden actually within the reports, because you can really get really specific if you want to with the reports in Google AdWords. But if you just go under the date range will have to be applied, of course. But once that is, and you're underneath your campaign, you'll want to go under reports, click on extensions, click on the call details. And what that will show you is how many people in that time range and date range have called you. You can know when they called, if it was received or missed, and how long that phone conversation actually was. What's it's going to help out with, say you have say you're really busy, say the dental practice is really busy between 12 and 1, and you notice between those times, that's when you're getting the most calls, but half of them are missed. That can give you a little bit of an insight of your offline business to understand if you need to hire an additional help, or if you need to put someone else on a project to just answer phones because you understand that there's a large influx of calls during those times, specifically coming from AdWords. So it's a really important key stat to kind of analyze and track while throughout your Google Ads campaign.
And we also like to use once again, it all comes back to this thank you page tracking. When you go into the content breakdown, the page breakdowns in the back of Google Analytics, you can use the secondary dimension, or you can go into the paid search acquisition channel from that overview we showed you to see what they're doing. If people are hitting that thank you page, that means, and they are getting there from the cost per click from the AdWords campaign, that means double down, put some money in it. If you believe that the leads that you were getting from it, in this case, the 7 unique leads you got from the thank you page, from the paid search campaign, if this is a dental practice and you're getting 7 new patients from that in the past month, that the lifetime value is going to be definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned wasted spend. One of the biggest things that you can take from Google Ads and to make sure that you're not wasting any of your marketing dollars is going in and looking at your negative keywords and applying them where applicable. What we like to do and what we tell every business, I think Steven is so adamant on this, is taking every single one of your competitors' brand names and putting it into the negative keywords, because essentially you could be wasting your dollars on people who accidentally click on your ad because they search one of your competitors' name. And it could be argued, you might have the argument that, well, maybe they find me while trying to find another business and then decide to do business with us instead. Well, that might be the case 2% of the time, but more often or not, the people who are searching your competitor's name is already a trusted client of theirs. So I think an ad, unless you have a really, really significant offer, maybe you're open right now and they aren't, which is a good example of just kind of applying where we're at in the reality of online business now. But unless you have one of those things, it's best not to waste your spend showing up for searches that aren't applicable for someone who's truly interested in your business.
Yeah, we always like to say, if you're looking for the closest Taco Bell to you, you do not want to see an ad for McDonald's.
Yeah,
and this is one way that you can essentially make sure you're not blowing your spend on
that. Google Search Console is a great tool that we use, and the best thing about it, it's free. So when you dive deep into Google Analytics, you might see when under keywords that the number one thing or the number one keyword that is showing up or that you're ranking for is in parentheses not provided. That means Google Analytics wants you to pay them separately to kind of show you all the different kind of organic keywords that you're showing up for. Well, instead of that, use one of their other tools, Google Search Console. You can go in and implement your URL and get set up. It tells you exactly what phrases on your website is being ranked for what popular phrase. So what that means is you can understand via just typing in a blog URL or a product page URL or a service page URL what was being searched for in order to land on that page by your site visitor. So that's super important with, say, you have underneath your services, you did a whole campaign and Google ad campaign around teeth cleaning. Well, it turns out on your services page, the number one thing to find that page was actually a root canal. Well, then that means you need to kind of put your efforts towards root canal and put your SEO efforts and backlinking efforts toward root canal, and maybe even create a Google Ads campaign around that, because that's what your customer base is truly finding your site for and is truly looking at you as the authority figure on. It doesn't cost anything and it's not hard to use, but you have to make sure you know what you're looking for and how to make the most of the platform.
Yep. And we have a quick graphic on this next one to show you a little bit of what the actual breakdown looks like. Yes, we are ranking for dental. We are getting 3 clicks a month, and that is a ton of impressions. That means people are actually seeing us for this phrase. And yes, it's great to see this data. This is probably one of the most fun data points that clients like to look at. They can dig into this and just keep going and going and going and see not even just the words that you're getting clicks for, but just the phrases that Google is finding you for. We added, I know that we used armadillo wrestling digital marketing is one phrase that we put on our site just to prove that you could have the most like long-winded phrases and you show up for it. Well, there might be one person in the world that's looking for that, but they find it because you put it out there. We found for one of our accounting friends, they were writing these incredibly good blog posts. Well, we found these 12-word questions, and essentially we found that they were people who were taking their CPA exam were trying to cheat on some of the questions and found their website. So that says they're knowledgeable, they have a ton of value. In the back end of Google Search Console, you can also have there's a section on the side that will, it's in I believe it's in beta right now. It will show you speed problems that your pages might have. If you have a developer on staff and you say, hey, listen, our contact us page or our about us page is super slow, fix it, they'll probably know what to do. And then there is also a section, you go to the next one.
Yep. It should be
there's a section that tells you problems throughout your site, whether an image is blocking text, or if there's a broken link, or the content is wider than the screen, or text is too small for mobile. these are types of things you can pass off to a developer, or if you have a digital marketing agency / web designer, you can pretty much say, hey, fix these things on this page. And, if you got like 2 hours of support with them each month, make them earn their keep. And that leads us to the final Google product that we're going to go over, quite possibly the most vital in the year 2020.
Yeah, I think that Google My Business, it's definitely the most essential tool you're going to want to use from Google right now. And if you don't have a listing, get one. Make that your first priority, because especially in a local sense, it's the only way that you're going to immediately compete with your competitors online. And it's your essentially one stop for brand reputation management. So you can go in there and you can apply and encourage reviews. You can localize your SEO in regard to that, and you can even find out a lot of stats that you are surprisingly don't know from your business listing. So you can figure out how many people specifically called you via your Google business listing, how many people are requesting directions, so you can understand and optimize for a bigger foot traffic. You can understand how many people are getting to your website via Google My Business, so that just goes into the direct search traffic for your business, and understand how many people are actually searching for your brand, so you can get a better look inside of your brand reputation. It doesn't even cost anything. And is it hard to use? It's not, but you also have to kind of learn how to navigate the back end and get into how to actually not only verify your ownership of Google My Business, but also how to get into the back end, because there's a lot of places and a lot of things you can do to optimize your Google My Business. So you can add products, you can add services, you can edit your hours, you can even put blog posts, and hell, we don't recommend it by any means, but you can create a whole website for your business from Google My Business, because Google wants to control a lot of things.
And that just kind of proves the nature of how much stock Google is putting into your Google business page. In fact, if you've noticed in the past year, Facebook no longer does reviews. They do, would you recommend this product or not? Everything is funneling through the Google My Business reviews platform now. And, this isn't a hard platform to learn. I like to say, if you knew how to run a MySpace page back in the day, you can probably run your Google My Business fairly well.
Minus the coding, exactly. And here's just a really quick look inside of some of the great statistics you can get. So like I mentioned, it's an essential tool. You can optimize everything, and Google understands the optimization rules at all. You want to make sure you have everything that you possibly can for Google, and as it pertains to Google, filled out and optimized. So you can see how many people found you via search, how many people are looking at you on the map, how many people found you from just discovery, so that's organic traffic to your listing, and then also website visits, calls, photo views, and direction requests activity. Stephen believes that Google My Business will feed into analytics in the future, although we're not quite there yet, but we have all the kind of prediction, or we have kind of the leeway to go into analytics from Google My Business, because there's definitely a lot that they can apply to there.
Yeah, the analytics nerds out there will know that when you're trying to figure out how much traffic is coming from your Google business page, well, Google doesn't just say, well, it's from your listing. If it was a branded search, it feeds into your direct traffic. If it's somebody searches dentist near me, it will feed into your organic search. It's not an exact science, but we firmly predict that Google's going to write that over the course of the next year. And we're just gonna, because I know we're running up on time, we're just gonna look at 3 of the tools that we have in-house, the digital marketing agencies, all the cool ones have at their disposal, what you can use for free. If you have a WordPress site and you need to just get your step through your foot through the door when it comes to SEO, we recommend using something called Yoast Seo. It is free. There is a paid for version. Don't get the paid for version. Essentially what this allows you to do is optimize what are called your meta titles and descriptions. That's fancy speak for the first thing Google sees on your site. It also allows you to customize what people see when they look at your Google listing. You can put your keywords in there, your brand name in there. Instead of having to code anything, you click download this plugin, click unpack, boom, it loads on. You just type in those words, update, you've got it. The next tool that we want to look at is SEMrush. SEMrush gives way too much away for free. So we definitely recommend downloading not even just a free trial, just creating a free account. And essentially what you can do is see an overview of what you've actually been doing. If you have a marketing agency that's running stuff for you right now, this is a kind of a check on them. But you can also see, oh, wow, I did not know we were running, we had a client that was running a Google Ads campaign for their branded search, and they didn't know it until we ran this test. And they were like, wow, that's where that $200 a month was going. So it allows you to see what you're doing, what you're ranking for, and it also allows you to look at what your competitors are doing as well.
Yeah,
but when it
competitive
comes to
analysis is great for SEMrush. That's one of my favorite tools to use for competitive analysis.
And when it comes to the end-all products, if you are looking to really take it seriously and put SEO into in-house, we strongly recommend Moz.
Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, this has been our best friend throughout the past years. A lot of these platforms come and go. Moz is forever. We're not sponsored by them or anything. We just think that they do a really good job, especially with their free tools. They allow you to figure out what you're ranking for. I know Search Console does that a little bit, but they can help a little bit more. You can get a little bit of intel on your competitors, see what they're doing. And the biggest thing that they do is they give away these that's a Whiteboard Fridays, which is essentially a presentation every week where they will walk you through exactly how to do digital data dives and walk you through here's this problem that you're facing, and they will walk you through step by step in the most lay person terms possible. So we highly recommend picking up these three tools when you leave and use those to your full advantage.
So what database changes can you make? Well, content creation is one that you can use via analytics to figure out exactly what kind of value your customers are not only looking for, but what you can provide for them to not only, again, provide more value as a brand, but also be better and show up more on organic search and improve your organic search ranking. You can learn how to kind of understand how to message as far as a brand goes. Your brand recognition is important here, and using analytics and your data to kind of make sure your brand messaging is on key and on point with what your customer base is searching for and what they're looking for in a brand or a decision among your competitors or versus your competitors. And then you can see how you change how you reach people. If you understand via analytics that your social media marketing might need an upkick in traffic, then you know exactly where you need to focus your priorities. And the same can be said for organic search. No business on Google is going to improve until they get that organic search ranking, and analytics is the first place and first stop to look if how you're doing and where you need to increase your effort.
Yeah, we mentioned before with content creation, you go into your Google Search Console and you figure out all the phrases that you're currently being indexed for. You can make blog topics off of that. You can go into your Google Analytics and look at your most popular pages and see, okay, people really like our dental implants. Let's write more blog articles like that to reinforce that. Your brand messaging, when you start running ads, the algorithm will tell you what type of messaging works the most, and it will allocate automatically more money towards that. Is it the buzzword, like keyword heavy jargon stuff that really resonates with people? Or is it the we're your comfortable family dentist here to take care of you? And then, like Scotty said, change how you reach people. Is it that foot traffic? Is it telling people to free download here? Or is it a simple contact us? All reliable. Is that what works the best for your company? All the numbers tell you that.
So here's all the links you could ever need. We have actually a screenshot of this. This is just kind of all the tools we went over. And here's the links you could ever need. Feel free to screenshot it, as we're not giving away any secret sauce. I mean, we are, but it's right here at your disposal. In case you need help navigating to them, these are kind of what you'll ever need. If you can screenshot them now, or we'll give you an option at the end here to either you can reach out to us and we'll gladly send you this whole presentation along with this slide for additional context. So if you ever need it, we're here for you. But this is just an opportunity to kind of screenshot so you can get behind in the back end of all these kind of different dashboards.
And I know we talked a lot about a lot of different things, and it's got you either feeling overwhelmed maybe or motivated. Hopefully it's the latter there. But we welcome you to have a bit of self-reflection right now and think about, like, what does your organization call elite? Is it a phone call? Is it a new person walking into your store? And what are your overall tangible goals? Like, even outside of just digital, what do you want to do year over year? What do you need to do month over month? We have a cosmetic surgeon who has certain services that they need to be able to pay for, so they want us to put more marketing dollars toward those. And it helps us to shape our methods moving forward. What are your current pain points? Do you just not have somebody to manage this? And is there somebody in-house who can be trained, or do you need to offload it to somebody else who can do it full time? Do you just simply not know anything, or you simply don't know everything that you think that you need to know? Well, a training seminar or a one-on-one conference can help you figure that out and walk you through it on a day-to-day basis. How should clients reach you? And are you reaching them in the way that you want them to reach you? Are you giving them that avenue? Are you giving them multiple personalized forms throughout your site because you want more data? And then ultimately, are you dedicated to paying attention to these platforms and taking any action you need to improve upon it? Because digital marketing isn't a set it and forget it type of thing. You've got to be in there with AdWords. Sometimes it's day to day. With a lot of blog writing, it's week to week, month to month. With, we didn't even get into it, but backlink garnering, that's just something that you've got to keep burning in the fire. So are you dedicated to improving your digital? And if so, we're hoping that you can dig into the data and allow that to navigate you forward.
Yeah, and depending on who you liked more, if Steven's man bun was doing it for you, you can email one of us for the slides. We got your back. We never spam. We won't show you a bunch of different, we won't spam your inbox. We'll give you the exact slides you want here. And if you want a free SEO evaluation, we'll give that to you too. We usually get that done within 24 hours of getting a request in. So feel free to, send us anything that you might need. We're always happy to help. We're always excited to take on new challenges and see where businesses can improve online. It's what we do. And everyone needs a little help along the way, and we get by a little bit, or we get by with a little help from our friends. So, we're here if you need it.
And we know times are tough right now, and there is a lot of volatility and uncertainty in the market, which is exactly why we're here. If you need just a 5 to 10 minute consult to just walk through analytics to help you make the best marketing decision that you will make in the next 1 to 2 months when things are pretty insecure, we can help you out with that. Just kick us an email, send us a call, whatever it needs to be, we'll hop on it and help you out. We've been doing it for our clients, and we are more than happy to help you out during these trying times for sure.
Oh, thank you so much. That was very good. That was very interesting. We have a couple of questions here. I know that it was an extensive presentation, but maybe you can take a couple of them.
Sure.
Thank you. We have a question. What is bot traffic?
So bot traffic is essentially a robot coming to your site and clicking through all of your pages in less than a second. Google will say, okay, suppose your website has 15 pages. A website out there will crawl your site, aka it will hit every single one of your pages at once. Oftentimes this traffic comes from Russia. And essentially it artificially inflates, these robots artificially inflate your statistics. And it will come at, 1 a.m., you'll get a surge of 30 unique hits. So when you're looking week over or year over year at your data, you'll see a artificial inflation of your stats, and you kind of want to filter that out to ensure you're getting the best numbers. When we picked up a few campaigns with people, we found that some agencies were installing specific plugins that were dedicated for SEO, but then when you dug into the traffic, there would be bot traffic coming from Russia, at 2, maybe 3 in the morning sometimes, and it would spike their traffic 200 hits. The crawler would hit the site multiple times, artificially inflating the overall amount of traffic. So bot traffic is essentially spam traffic. It doesn't hurt you to have it. However, when you're looking at analytics and you're trying to make smart money-making and money-saving decisions, you want to filter that out.
Oh, thank you so much. We have some other questions here, but we don't have much time left, and I know that our participants can email you and get in touch with you, and I'm sure you will be able to answer any other questions they have. Thank you so much, Steve and Scotty.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today. This is the end of our presentation, and we hope you found it interesting and useful, and enjoy the rest of your days.
Yep, we'll see you all around.